Welcome to Conversation with Haych, and we have a supreme guest with us today, Not superb, supreme. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? An amazing woman of God, of Ugandan heritage, living in South London, Peckham. Yeah, we had a conversation with Peckham, basically. She's a singer-songwriter who gave us the amazing masterpiece that was In Full Bloom. Now go check that out. That came out in 2021. Was it July?
Yeah.
2021. Go check that out. It's got some amazing tunes on. Please extend. You know them vocals there. That was her. That was her singing the vocals. I'm just letting you know. She can sing tenor. One of the times I saw her sing tenor. Amazing tone to her voice. She's incredibly transparent and funny. If you don't follow her on the Twitter, please. It's Sharyn. Sharyn. That's SHARYN official. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. The Adele, the Solange, the Laura Mvula fan, the soon-to-be global Christian R&B sensation. I introduce to you, Sharyn. How you doing today?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm alright, I'm alright. We had a good conversation off camera before.
Yeah, we did. We had a great conversation. I think you need to start a Patreon. Give them like the exclusive.
Yeah, can you see what happens with the Patreon? Yeah, you give them the exclusive, and then that exclusive ends up in the 2-minute video on the Twitter that weren't meant to be there. And now, how you gonna save face?
It's true. You can't, but if it gets the conversation with Haych growing, then
look at you thinking about marketing ideas,
I know. I can't switch off. Sorry.
For those who don't know who you are, who is Sharyn?
First and foremost, I'll say I'm a daughter. Mm-hmm. I'm a friend. I'm a sister. I'm a godmother, and I'm also a singer-songwriter, and I love tech as well. That's the second overview of me.
You like tech?
I love tech.
Have you always liked tech?
Yeah. I've always been really into technology, especially phones. Like I was always trying to get the latest phone.
Okay.
As a kid. I'm not gonna lie, this is a true story time.
Okay, talk to us.
When I was in year 7, I got a Nokia, I think it's a 310, one of my first phone ever.
The one with the orange lights on the side? Or
that's correct.
Okay.
And how I got that phone was because I traded my packed lunch for it.
Nah, hold on. Who is valuing packed lunch and a Nokia 3310? That valuation is off. That's a computer exchange valuation.
Because I knew about stocks and shares before anyone else did. I'm joking. I'm not gonna my mum made banging food. She still does, but I don't even know. Now I think about it, it's such a stupid exchange. This poor person went home without a phone and had to face their parent.
No, they had to tell their parents, hey, that's like Jack and the Beanstalk. That's what that is.
Yeah, it is.
Spent all the money, but I got some beans.
This is it.
And you're just out here just with a Nokia phone. Did you give them back, or did you?
I kept it.
That was your phone.
That was my phone. And I was playing Snake and everything.
That's Snake.
Yeah, I was proper invested in it, and from then on, my passion for technology just grew, and even things like computers. My mum was always making me the one, because she has her own business, making me be the one to actually set up her computers for the company and do all the logins and everything. Yeah.
So younger Sharyn, is a tech music person or just a tech person?
I was a music person, but I would say I was a jack of all trades. I did a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything.
So who would you say inspired you the most when you was younger?
That's a very great question. Definitely the Spice Girls.
Listen, Spice Girls are cold,
The Spice Girls, because I felt that they really represented, I think, British culture at the time.
Yeah.
And it was all about female empowerment.
Yes.
And I love that, before being a girl boss was a thing, they were basically killing it. And it wasn't only just music. Guys, those Spice Girl movies were banging. I was just you don't only just have to sing, you can act as well. I was this is great. And you can be a fashionista. I was these women are all in one. They're the whole package. They were the full package. So the Spice Girls were like big inspirations for me. Yeah.
The Spice Girls. The ones who sang, I need some love like I never needed love.
Gotta admit, let me not sing that line.
Because, listen.
Woo! Let's know. Woo! That. You guys know the rest. You know the rest. There we go. Continue in your own time.
The thing is, yeah, that was a two-part question. And I just started singing. How important is heritage to you as well?
Oh, heritage is everything to me because growing up, I think I understood more of what it meant to be Ugandan than it meant to be Black British.
Yeah.
I think the way that my family raised me and my cousins and even my siblings, it was very much like, this is what Ugandan traditions are. This is what we do as Ugandans. This is what is acceptable. This is not what is not acceptable. Like even simple things like, I remember being 17, thinking about wanting to take a gap year. My family were like, gap what? They were like, what is this thing that you want to do to travel the world? Like it just wasn't, but it's all of it. It wasn't just a Black experience. It was the Ugandan experience. My house, the capital city of Uganda is Kampala. So my house was little Kampala, Jinja, Mengo, all those towns and villages. My Ugandans know, but like that was like my home. Like my mum is very much the hub of the community as well. Yeah. And my church growing up was predominantly Ugandan. So you can imagine all sides. It's very much the Ugandan experience, not just the Black British, but it was very, very much. And so I tried to make sure that I really just express that. And, as you get older and you meet other people and other Black people, and you learn certain cultures tend to dominate, I've learned how to also stand your ground and be proud of where you're from, and not try to assimilate other cultures, because, Ugandans tend to be a lot quieter, or say East Africans in general, compared to, let's say, the West or even, let's say, Caribbean. So it's like, but we kind of, we celebrate our culture. It's just in a very different way.
Yeah, that's good. So where does the music come into all of this? Like, where does the music start from? Because I'm trying to see the path and how you get into music. Yeah,
I think, so I grew up in a house where music was always playing. Okay. And it's for me, it's incredible now. Like the Janet Jackson documentary has like just come out, and I grew up on Janet. I grew up on the Jacksons. So like music was always playing in my house, Earth, Wind and Fire. And so my mum kind of noticed that I could sing a little bit. And so she got me involved in like school choirs, and I was really lucky to get solos. And the way that growing up in London, we have, the different boroughs, and Southwark, where I grew up, was very much like they had this big gospel choir, and I was like singing lead and all of these things. Like I was a sassy little thing. Don't get it twisted.
He was out here singing lead.
I was,
What was one of the songs that you sang lead for?
I'll Be There. I don't even know if that's what it's called. I'll be there.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Just call my name. And I'll be there. That was me. And when it goes, don't you?
I know he was going, don't you know?
I was singing that dirt with all my heart and all my soul. What? Yeah. So that's what I was singing, those kind of songs. And so then, essentially, like me doing music now actually started when I was 10. Okay. Yeah. So my family friend came, and he kind of heard me singing and stuff, and he was like to my mum, like, I want to get her in the studio and record a song. So he actually wrote a song for me, and we recorded it, and it was like I would call it a B-side. Okay. Because back in the day, like whenever like you would have like singles or
you'd have the main single on the A side,
and then you'd have a second single on the B. It was a B side, and I remember I had a photo shoot out like in like these gardens, and I was. I had my See the Kitten Heels that are made a comeback. I was rocking them before in the early 2000s, Y2K. That was me. I was wearing these heels. Like I was just so excited, and the whole project was called Teacher Child. And actually went and did a mini tour in like America.
Mini tour?
Yeah, I did in America.
So you're already used to this lifestyle, innit? You're already used to this music thing?
Yeah, so to be honest, with my family, it was more like they were more shocked at the direction I took as a late teenager, early like 20s, to do sciences. That's what I did. That's what I studied at university. Like everybody was just like, "Are you okay?" Like,
so hold on, you went on tour in America, and then somehow we get to the early 20s, late teens, and
Yeah.
you go science instead of the music route.
mm-hmm.
After you've been singing in the Southwark,
Southwark, yeah.
Just Southwark gospel choir, you're doing
Yeah.
these leads and that, singing "I'll Be There" and that, and you go do the sciences.
Yeah.
What happened?
I think it's growing up watching things like, X Factor and Pop Idol.
Oh,
Like, you think that that's the only route. Like, how can a girl from Peckham become a pop star?
Okay. So you thought that was like the only route?
Like, yeah, because that's what's advertised. That's what we see. Because yes, there were auditions for S Club Junior and all of those things. But at that time, more about me is I went to boarding school. So I wasn't even in London to go to the Brit school and to have all of these opportunities that most London kids were getting. So it's a thing of where, so for me, I'm in the countryside, south,
you're quay.
west of the UK, like in the middle of nowhere in this tiny village. Like, where is Simon going to find me? Simon is not going to find me, you know?
Okay.
And so I just thought, you know what, like I'm getting quite good at the sciences.
Yeah.
Let me just become a doctor and focus on that. And that's how I got into it.
So literally, you looking at X Factor and
Yeah.
Pop Idol and all them kind of things, that essentially altered what you were gonna take, the trajectory you was gonna take in life.
Yeah.
Because you thought that was your only way to.
Yeah, to be successful. That, like, the whole idea of being a gospel artist, that was very American. That's the American dream. And even though I did grow up on Noel Robinson and a few of the UK worship leaders like Martin Smith and Matt Redman, but like that was more like what I knew as what being a gospel artist was, or a Christian artist was. These guys were also very attached to America.
Yeah.
It was the States. So what I understood was as UK talent was X Factor, Pop Idol, all of those things, And so I was just like, I just don't, it's not very realistic.
So talk to me about that conversation that you have with everyone about, I'm going to go back into music now. So you do the sciences.
Yeah.
Then you go back into music. Is that what happens? Or do you
No.
still do music at this point?
I'm still doing sciences. And what happened was, so during my degree, I really struggled.
Yeah.
I studied biology and I ended up taking a year off my course. And in that year, it was I call it my wilderness year. I felt so lost, like my identity, who I was, because like I said, like my creativity, I had dulled it down to become this scientist, to become, this doctor. But it wasn't working out because I was failing. Yes, I'm not gonna lie, I was partying too hard, disclaimer. Disclaimer, but at that point, I had like reignited my relationship with God, and like I was just praying a lot. I plugged myself back into my home church because I spent that year back in London, and I just wrote songs. I poured my heart out, and I remember it was at Christmas time, I want to say 2017. My family, we'd gathered up in Leeds because I've got family up there, and I sang them this song I wrote called "Beautiful Saviour," and they say that I forced them to sing it. That's not what happened. He said, she said, I'm just saying that's not what happened. I personally believe that, like, I said, let's sing this song together.
Come on, choir.
Our family and friends are quite musical.
Yeah.
So we all I taught them the song. Everyone was adding harmonies. It was beautiful. Then we shot it, put it up on Facebook. I said, Merry Christmas from my family to yours. That thing went viral. And for Facebook, especially back then, it was like 4,000 views in 24 hours. Okay.
It's crazy.
That was 4,000 people. I didn't even have that many friends on Facebook. I said, where did all these people come from? Where? And so it went viral. And then one of my friends from university, she DM'd me being like, I need this song on my phone. I need it on like Apple Music. I need that ASAP. So I know a producer back at uni when you go back and you're going to record this. And that's how I got here.
That's how you got here?
That's how I got here.
Does the sciences now pause because of that? Or
no, like I went back to uni and I finished my degree. I got my 2-1, we praise God. But yeah, like so in the back end, I was recording this project, this EP, Beautiful Savior, but it was just more of my testament and my discovery in that wilderness year of who God is, of who Jesus is to me, and my feelings of not feeling like I'm enough, the monotonous like day to day of, cause I got a job and it felt so draining, that 9 to 5, like all of these songs were being birthed in that time. Even Peace of God from this album was birthed at that time, because I was just writing and writing and writing. And before then, it's so interesting because like when I wanted to be the next Adele basically. So I would try to write these love songs, but I'd never been in love before. So it just wasn't working out. But in that period, I learned my truth of you have to write from what you know. And what I knew to be true, was that God was good, despite my hardships and my trials and stuff. And so like I was doing my degree, but also producing an album an EP in the back burner. But it wasn't a thing of where like I'm going to become this big artist. It was something that I just felt led to do, and
One of the things I want to speak about is, in all of that time, you being at uni, studying biology, you creating this musical EP, and prior to all of that in your life. Talk to me about your mum and how much of an influence and support she was during that whole time.
My mum is my best friend, and she's like the reason why I am where I am. Because she taught me about the importance of believing and investing in your children. I think it's so easy to be like, oh yeah, my mum cheerleads me and she does all of this. But like my mum would drive hours to come to most of my matches at school. So I used to play lacrosse in a sports team. And where I went to school, especially my boarding school, was like 4 hours, 5 hours drive away. And she'd try to come to every single match. And even when I was still in London as a kid, like I said, Mum, I want to swim. She put me in the swim team. I wanted to be an Olympian, I'm not gonna lie. That one still hurts. That dream.
You was trying to be out here at the Olympics.
I wanted to swim for Uganda. That was like a childhood dream as well. But like she put me in like even like a music school as well when I was in primary school.
Wow.
But like she did everything. I did a bit of acting, I did a bit of dance. Like my mum was like, every day, I'm not gonna lie, I was busy. As a kid, I was that kid who was very, very busy, and because she raised me as a single parent as well. So alone, like, and a lot of these things are not free, by the way. As much as the council could do, as much as the government can do, a lot of these things cost money, but she invested in me regardless. And so her, just giving her all to me is what has like made me the kind of ambitious woman that I am, and the do-getter and the go-getter too. And I have the ability and the resilience to do things, but it's only because of her. It's only because she believed in whatever dream I had in that moment. She was believing. I was like, I want to do science. She's just like, I don't know why, but okay, let's do this. Let's get you a tutor. You're failing uni. Let's get you a tutor. Like, this is not working out. Let's do this. Like, she was always ready to go. No matter what I said. If I told her today I want to be a pilot, she'll look at me confused, but she'll be like, let's do some aeronautical engineering. We'll study this thing together. Like, and it's because of that, like, that I will always be grateful for my mum. And like, my mum is low key like a Christian. She is like kind of like, she's not my manager, but she's a momager. Like, I allow her to do her thing. Like, every event, she always tries to be there. Like, she's always there. She's my biggest music fan, every song. And it's so funny because we always have moments, like with any relationship, like when we don't get on, we don't agree, things like that. And so last year I went through like a rough patch, and this woman was playing Mercy on repeat. Imagine we're having this disagreement, and so there's tension in the house, and I just hear, Mercy, please extend. I'm like, you're a crook. You're a crook, because how can I not forgive you? How?
That's good, that is.
Yeah.
That's very good.
So she's really done so much for me. And I'm literally like, I'm so grateful that God put me in her care to raise me. So yeah, that's my mother. She's amazing. And those who follow me on Instagram, they also know my mom loves to travel.
Yes.
This woman, she does lifestyle.
Yes,
lifestyle. The gorgeous girls. gorgeous girls. That's my mom. Soft Life, that's my mother. My mom is a CEO of Soft Life. She loves it. Yeah.
You spoke about Mercy, the song, so let's pivot a little bit to
Yeah.
the album. Because before that, you released EP, singles.
Yeah.
What was the change in mentality to doing the album and an album like In Full Bloom?
I think In Full Bloom has always been in the work. It's always been something that I've always wanted to do in terms of when I decided, okay, I'm going to do this music thing properly.
Yeah.
It just wasn't encompassed and packaged as In Full Bloom.
Got you.
It was this idea of, I want to talk about, you know, growth and becoming a woman, like your journey as a Christian, relationships. And so it's a thing of where like I was really figuring it out, I think, because when I released the EP, it was a shock. Like the response was crazy, like for someone who had come from nowhere. This is like, to set the scene, 2019 January, I released Beautiful Saviour. By March, I'm nominated by Premier Gospel Awards for Best Newcomer. I said, first and foremost, I don't know who y'all are. I knew Premier Gospel, Premier because of the radio show. But I'm just like, I'd be like, what did you find? Like, what? And that's even like how I even met Asha earlier as well. She's my good friend now. And like it was just such a crazy period for me because the next thing I know, then Derek from Gospel Hydration is hollering at me and things are just happening. And I'm making By My Side and that's a mega hit, like back in Africa and like here. And I'm just like, this is, things just happening. And I'm making music. But like, I was just like, okay, like what do I do now? Like, what is now the plan? Because this wasn't the plan. God is just opening doors and making a way for me. But now I have to seriously sit and think, what's the next plan? And I think when I first signed to Hydration Records, like the plan was I had a really good meeting with Derek to sit and do the album. But then in 2020, we just realized that wasn't the direction for us, you know? And so we parted ways because we both wanted different things. And so, and I'm now back to being an independent artist again. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do. And then my friend Mike, shout out to him, he was just like, you still need to do this album. We still need to make it happen. And then next thing you know, I'm linking up with Andre Fisher, who does the majority of the production of the album. And we get the most amazing instrumentalists. I don't even know how. These guys are busy touring, but if not for the pandemic, like if like they wouldn't even probably been available to do this project, you know, because these guys tour full time. And so like, so then this album is just coming together. Songs are coming out of me. And like how even the title In Full Bloom came was around April and May when Boris said we can have unlimited exercise. I really did unlimited exercise. I really did. But it was more walks that would go. And that time, like, it was really nice weather. And that's this kind of season when flowers begin to bloom. And then this song just came to me of being in full bloom and living a life that always honors God. And I feel like that's what encompassed the album for me. It was figuring out, like, navigating how we live our lives. But ultimately, it's for God's glory. And so, that's literally how the project came to be.
So you release In Full Bloom. Do you, after that comes out, there's an amazing response to it. Amazing. People love the album. One of my favorite gospel R&B albums from the UK in the last 10 years.
Wow.
How do you deal with that response first and foremost? And how do you deal with the pressures of what people expect to come from you next?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I think I still don't deal with the response. I think I'm still in shock because of how my whole journey started. This wasn't the plan. Like, I thought I was going to be a biology teacher at the end of it, by the way. Like, so I'm still like in shock that like people actually like my music. People actually hear my heart. They actually relate. They actually think this is amazing quality, you know. Not only just the fact that it's Christian music, even those outside of the Christian community are saying this is excellent. Quality. This is actually really quality, good. This is good music, basically. And I'm trying to also, I think, affirm myself a lot more because there's always like part of me that is still a bit of a people pleaser, and is still looking for the approval of others, and still looking for that affirmation,
Really?
and still looking for that confirmation.
From you?
Yeah, because I think growing up as in a single parent household, like I had to really make friends, you know, and as I told you earlier, like my siblings were living their lives in Canada. They weren't here with me, apart from my younger sister, but like it was very much like I felt like I was very much alone, and so like I became an entertainer from a very young age.
Wow.
I was very much like the life of the party, all of these things, and so like now I don't really live that life anymore. Not really that way. There's still elements of it in different ways. You know, because it's like you drop something and it's like you're watching the Spotify. Spotify for artists is the worst thing in the world. It's the best and worst thing in the world because you're just looking at the numbers. Like, are people listening? And it tells you one person's listening, and you're like, okay. Then it's like 10 people listening, and it's like 1,000, and it's like you're just watching this thing, and it's like it doesn't help. Basically, it doesn't help. It feeds into the part of you that is looking for approval, but I just have to just remember to speak the truth and God's truth over myself, that God's approval is what's the most important. And I think that regardless of where this journey takes me, it's like I'm enough, you know, because now like my identity and who I am is shifted and changed, because now I've decided to become an artist, but I'm still those things. I'm still a daughter. I'm still a friend. I'm still a godmother. That's why I started with all of those things, because that's who I am, you know? Being an artist, whatever job I decide to do or career I decide to have, those things can change. It can change. One minute you're huge, the next minute no one wants to listen to your music anymore. And how do you deal with that? And so, yeah, I forgot the second part of your question.
The second part of the question was, how do you deal with the pressure of what people expect to come after that, which is what you basically just answered.
Oh, yeah. I think, you know what, one thing I also add is that there's also that part of me that doesn't give a heck. Because, especially when it comes to my sound and sonically, because I think, especially, I'll be honest, when I released By My Side with Marizia and T-Babs, like, that was me experimenting. I've never really done Afro beats before, Afro gospel. And so then afterwards, there was a surge of people wanting to collaborate and do a certain style and do a certain genre. And that was really hard for me, because it's like, as much as I appreciate and I love Afro beats, like, I wouldn't say that's like my sound. And so I was very mindful, because I don't want to be defined by the sound. I want to be like a Justin Bieber on Essence. Like, I just want to do like a one
track. Sort of flow on the thing and then back to my thing.
That's kind of what I kind of want to do with that genre of music. And so that's the thing, is that people hear you do one particular sound.
And they think that's you.
And they think that's you. They think, oh yeah, this is what she's going to do now. And it's, oh, we want more of that. And it's like, I hear that, but that's not what I'm about. And then so that's why like with my project In Full Bloom, it was actually to show people this is actually like what I do. And this is also what I'm capable of doing.
No, that's good. You talk about fear of failure at university. In your series about In Full Bloom. How does that you talked about overcoming it at university. How does that fear of failure affect you creatively, and have you overcome that, or are you still overcoming that?
Yeah, I think that fear of failure is what can make me self-sabotage and even not start something. You know, because it's like I have a song idea and I'm like, I haven't gassed, and I'm sending voice notes to the lads being like, because I've got a team around me, and I'll like send one of them a voice note being like, this song is a banger, like it's a huge hit, it's gonna be #1 in Italy, like I dream big, and then everyone's gassing the thing, and they're like, so when we go to studio, I'm like, listen, my calendar is full, I'm fully booked, actually. Ooh, we can go in like July. They're like, July? They're like, Sharyn.
We need this now.
Like, and that's what can happen, is like, I literally like self-sabotage so much. And it's literally because of that fear of failure. And so like, I won't start something, or someone be like, oh, you should apply for this, or you should do this event. I'm like, yeah. Or hit this person up, or email them, make that phone call. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm looking at the contact like, I'll reply later, or I'll call them later, and then it's like I just don't do it. because there's that innate part of me that's like scared of rejection and scared of it not working out. And that's something that I am currently, 2022, I'm like pushing myself to get out of my comfort zone and just do.
Because you know what it is? I experienced similar stuff like that.
Yeah.
In terms of like, if I put myself out there, what might not come back?
Yeah.
Not even so much what might come back. What if I email this person doesn't get back to me? What do I do then? Because now 5 people could have emailed me and said yes, but that one person said no. Or that one person blanked the email.
Yeah.
So now it's like, I'm not emailing no one else.
And it sticks with you.
And what you have to do, what I've learned, is you have to push past that because the opportunity is behind that door. So because someone rejected you then, doesn't mean the next person is going to reject you. It also doesn't mean that just because those 5 people said no, doesn't mean the 6th person is going to say no. Yeah. As soon as you stop, is when you're on the limit or when you're on the brink of that opportunity. Yeah. As soon as you feel like, I just got to stop now. Like, there's no point. Like, this is too much. Like, the fear is mad. Is when you're right on the brink of it's right there. Like, if you just do a little bit more. Yeah. It's right there. What you're looking for is right there.
Yeah, and this is why, like, I love this kind of conversation because I love being real. Because I think people have this idea of that because you're now an artist or you're so-called established artist, is that you've got it all together. Yeah. And it's like you have like you know what you're doing, you know what you're patterning, you're working in silence, you're grinding. Like these times I'm at home watching Netflix,
watching Ozark and that.
Oh my goodness, what I'm watching Raising Dion. What? Can I get the stems? Yeah, sure. What? I'm on episode 3 right now. That's the truth of it because of that fear, you know. If I send these vocals and don't like it, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But that's what I think has made my journey so beautiful is that vulnerability and rawness that I know that I can bring before God and I can bring before my friends and I can bring before my team to be like, this is how I'm feeling. And it's like, then you have people to then cheerlead you and then to egg you on or keep you accountable to be like, you know, you need this. Like my manager just now was just like, before I came, was just like, everything good? Have you got everything? Do you need anything? And I was just like, oh, well, he remembered. Like, it's on the calendar, but it's like, it's important that when you have people around you, like a team, a tribe, to also help you when you can't help yourself.
That's good. One of the reasons why I was so interested in doing this interview, doing this conversation, is because of how honest and open you are on social media. That was one of the reasons, like really honest and open. So you just kind of mentioned it and said, you know, you like these kind of conversations, you like to be honest and open. Yeah. So being honest and open, what do you want to achieve next in life?
I know that I definitely want to do this full time. Okay. Right now I'm not doing it full time, and I think, and then the question then pops up is like, what does that look like, right? Because people say all the time, right? I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to own a business, and it's just like, but you're asking for business ideas, and they're not giving you anything apart from graphic tees. This is no shade, no shade, but like, you know, so like, yeah, someone is listening and being like, what does that mean? And what that means is that I want to be able to provide for myself and my family through doing music. Like I want to actually have that experience of performing these songs that God has given me with a live audience, you know, and interact with that. I want to build that tribe, and I also want to contribute towards other people's careers. Like you mentioned, like the first time you saw me, like I was BVing for people. I love BVing, you know, for like, it's like one of my favorite things because I love harmony. So doing backing vocals for people, like I feel like I'm contributing to someone's creativity, to their ideas, you know. I want to do more songwriting with other people. And I think collaborations is not only just about features, but it's even being on that journey with someone. And so it's like, these are the things that will help and contribute to me doing full-time music. But again, it's like there's steps I need to take and the things that I know I need to do, but also people are also advising me on what to do as well. And also a dream of mine is to tour. I would love to tour.
We need that tour, you know. That tour is important.
God willing, it will come. But yeah, like, I would love to go on a tour.
With the band and everything.
that's like a dream, and like, because I think there's nothing more beautiful than live music.
Oh, you're talking the truth right now.
There's nothing more beautiful than like, I always call it the audience hearing your heart and you hearing theirs, because it's like you're singing the same songs like together, and so like that's like the bigger dream is to do a tour, and then from then on I'll see where life takes me. Yeah.
Your voice does need to be heard globally, even more than it's been heard already.
Thank you.
Like, honestly, like, there's a deeper passion that I hear from your voice.
Yeah.
That you hear from a lot of artists, but it's like, there's something different about you. There's very few that I think to myself, there's something different about you that as long as you stay true to who you are, you'll go far.
Yeah.
But all it requires is you just staying true to who you are. I look at someone like Nux, and how his show sold out in 5 minutes or something.
Yeah, it was
crazy.
Like
so obviously, but he stayed true to who he is.
Yeah.
So I feel like for you, whenever you feel like, should I do this instead, or should I go along this path? Just remember, as long as you stay true, everything will work out.
Yeah, and I think that's so important, because I think there's also like a group of people who might be listening to this and also thinking, but I don't like my voice, or I don't know if the sound that I'm making is right, or it's not popular, you know. And I'm like, but trends go, like people change, you know, and it's not up to you to persuade people to like you and like your music. Your audience will find you, your tribe will find you, and that's why shout out to all the music platforms that are diversifying their playlists now, because now you can actually find, you know, I'm looking for very, very sad Christian songs, like, and I'm pretty sure someone has made a playlist called Sad Christian Songs. Like, there is a playlist for these things now, and you can find those artists, and you will find people or find a place for yourself. And I think that's something that I also played in my mind as well, was like, my sound, I didn't know how people were going to receive it, and people have received it with open arms as well.
Because it's a great sound, that's why. It's a supreme sound. Like, it's not no dega sound. It's a supreme sound. One of the things that I also like about you being honest and open.
Oh God, I'm worried.
is you're a single black Christian woman in 2022, and you're very open on Twitter about, you know, this journey that
gets me in trouble sometimes.
That you're on.
But yeah.
What is it like to be a black Christian single woman?
Yeah.
In 2022.
Wow. I think sometimes it's easy to feel like your biggest traits are your biggest flaws when it comes to the dating scene, because because like, this take being a black woman, you know, recently there was statistics that showed that black women like were actually the least matched on dating apps, you know, and then being a Christian as well, then now there's only a certain group of people, a smaller niche group of people that you might be looking for, and even the ones who, even if let's say you're open and you're checking for other people, it's difficult because your morals just don't align. Been there, got the t-shirt, guys, it's not worth it. I'm telling you guys for free, don't do it. Like, it's not worth it, because there's all these things that you do yourself, all these practices, all your beliefs, all the encouragement that you need, all the encouragement that your partner needs. It's like, it would never be equal at all, you know. And then being in my 20s, if you go by social media alone, everybody's in a bloody relationship. Everybody just got proposed. Everyone got engaged. Everyone's on their first child. All the pandemic pregnancies. And I'm thinking, no, Valentine is coming. Where's your boyfriend? And I'm thinking, oh God, I'm really sitting at home lonely, and there's no one that I'm there for. But it's like the truth of the matter is, I know for a fact that I have avoided so much headache in my life because I've stayed true to who I am, and I've stayed true to my beliefs, and I've stayed true to God. And so, like I said, those traits they're not your flaws.
Yeah.
They got greater strengths. I love being a black woman. There's nothing more powerful than a black woman. There's no one who affirms more, no one who loves more and serves more and cares more than a black woman in their community, a black mother, a black daughter. You know, there's nothing more beautiful about it. You know, being a Christian is an empowerment, because when you go out there and you serve people and you love people, you bring peace with you, you bring joy with you, you bring love with you. You bring the fruits of the Spirit with you. And there's also nothing more amazing than being in a millennial, because it's like we're in the midst of all these different ages where we have an understanding of technology, but we also value the things of old as well. And I think I've had to change my mindset and my mentality of the things that define me, and also learn to embrace the things that other people might tell me to change, you know. And I think something that I've had to really fight and combat is when people say to you that you'll be happier if you're in a relationship, because you don't realize that how much people actually put relationships on a pedestal until they themselves get in one, and they're like, you should join this club. You should be a part of this gang, you know. You want to roll with the big boys? You know, get in a relationship, marriage gang. Everybody, they get married and they're starting their YouTube channel and they're thinking, wow, like maybe me too. Let me find my man so I can get on the YouTube scene. You know, get all that AdSense. Yeah, you know, let me monetize my marriage. But there's actually a beauty that is in singleness. Like there is a joy in being by yourself. Because in this time, the Bible even says it. You can serve the Lord your God with all your heart, and all your mind, all your soul, without one wayward person distracting you. You know, when I read your Bible, they're telling you, darling, the bills to pay. Sorry, I'm in my word. I'm in my words. You know, tell EDF to chill. Like you actually can serve God. I can serve God now. All these things that I'm doing with my music, if I was in a relationship, it would look very different. I'm not saying that I wouldn't be able to do it, because your partner can also uplift you and add to your dreams and your goals.
But there'd be a change.
Exactly, there'll be a dramatic change. And so I'm not gonna lie, the streets are still very ghetto, but in the ghetto, you know, there is some gold. Amen.
That's a deep one, you know. The streets is very ghetto, but the streets have still got some gold in them.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with, like, in full bloom comes out? How do you deal with now the new attention that comes from the guys? Or how do you deal with it in general?
Some people will say I'm lying when I say I'll be honest with you, there's no one in my DMs. It's not like I'm not called out music. You know, that's not me. Like,
don't say
that's not my ministry. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not I'm not a Christian hot boy. Do you know what I mean? That's not me. But I say in general, I think I have had inappropriate messages and things like that. And I think it's just, you know, the block button will be your best friend. Hallelujah, praise him. Right. And I think it's just being able to just safeguard and keep your boundaries, whatever they look like. Key. Because I think no matter who you are, you'll always meet people who may proposition you inappropriately. Yes. And I think it's just making sure that, like, you know, if you're not comfortable, like, make it clear and make it plain. And remove yourself from the situation. However that be, like, it doesn't matter if they call themselves a Christian or if Ecclesiastes is in their bio, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter who they are. You know, like, it really doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I have my safe bubble. And if I feel like people are violating that in whatever way, whether it be language or messages, whatever it is, sorry. And I'll just remove myself. So yeah. That's good. Yeah.
As your life continues to be in full bloom.
Yeah.
What's one thing you've learned about yourself?
Oh gosh. One thing that I've learned about myself is that I really love people. I think I really do. Because people are crazy. And it takes a crazy person to still keep loving crazy people. And I think that's something that serves me well in life, is that wherever I go, I'm able to connect with people. Yeah. And that's a certain grace that not everybody has, you know. And I thank God for it. And I think that if I continue to stay true to that, like God will continue to put me in rooms and take me into places that I wouldn't be on in my own accord, basically. So yeah, I just love people. Yeah.
My last question to you is with where you're at in life right now, what advice would you give to yourself?
I would give myself a scripture.
Okay.
I would say, count all joy, Sharyn, when you have trials of various kinds. For in the testing of your faith, it produces endurance always, and you'll be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. That's in James, for those who are asking. I don't know what chapter, I can't remember. But that's what I would tell myself. Yeah.
Sharyn, I really appreciate this conversation.
I appreciate it too. It's like healthy therapy. Love it.
Everyone says that.
It is. It is.
Interesting. Just in conversation with Haych, guys, with the supreme, soon to be global sensation, Sharyn. And we have more content coming for you very, very soon.